could have added to your list some physiotomy, you could have added Hep C.
Cervical.
More recently, you could have, on the contrary, and I say this is, I'm as proud an Irish woman as any, but the fact is that in our history we have had a deeply misogynistic culture. We have had a culture that regarded women as second-class citizens, that we weren't paid the same, we didn't have the same employment opportunities, and by the way, that still pertains in certain respects to this day. And the time has come now to change all of that. And you are wrong, you are simply wrong to keep repeating the notion that the right to life is stripped wholesale. That is not the case. There was a right to life pre-1983, and that remains the case. And as I've said to you already, but you don't seem to be conversant with the facts, the fact of that right is explicitly recognised in the legislative schedule.
I have to put it to both you politicians that you're being disingenuous on this point. That you may say, if you vote yes and remove the constitutional restriction, this means that, you know, these heads of this bill. But the truth is, I'm a former parliamentarian myself. Politicians are like 26A buses. They come and they go. And once you take this away from the people, a future Dáil, a future Minister for Health, and you might decide one day in government, Mary Lou, I'm in favour of a woman's right to choose, period. Just like that. And there would be nothing the people could do about it. This is the last time, if people vote yes, Micheal, that they will ever control this issue, and a future Dáil can do what they like.
Ivan, the foundation of the state, up to the early 1980s, before the 8th Amendment, we didn't have this provision in the Constitution, and the world didn't collapse. We should trust ourselves a bit more as a people. And I can't predict the future no more than you can. Life evolves, life changes. Different generations will respond differently to issues
But it won't go
as
back
they
to the
evolve.
people, is my point.
It could, just as equally as it be decided by the legislature. I mean, no one would have thought in the 80s, actually, and I would argue it was a part of the American evangelicalism that came in here, which was quite foreign to our approach, actually, in terms of religion up to then. And I think that came in here. It was kind of a different type of, what I would call an excessive lay zeal that came into our society that resulted in this going into the Constitution. It was the wrong place for it, in retrospect, looking back on it. It's too cruel, it's too inhumane as it is.
But listen, here's the issue though. The law is made in full public view. The law isn't made in secret. The work at committee, the work on the floor of the Dáil is in full public view. And actually, this is very much in the hands of the people. I would argue that the people hire us. No, the people hire us, the people fire us. The people ultimately direct the pace and the direction of public policy. And let me tell you this, the greatest evidence of this has actually been in Irish politics, not the eagerness to act on this issue, but the actual refusal, the hesitancy, because there was a sense that this issue was toxic. So the people are always in the driver's seat.
Regina Doherty said on Pat Kenny's show that the intentions of people, she was talking about the intentions of people who inserted Article 43.3 in 1983. She hoped it was for a good reason. It was to take it away from politicians and to let the people decide. And you were talking about trusting women, and people talk about trusting various people in women's rights. This is beyond gender, it's beyond religion, it's beyond politics. It is human rights. It's a human rights issue. And you're talking about taking away the right to life of a very, very, very vulnerable category of human being, the unborn boy and girl.
You're talking, Theresa, about balancing in an appropriate fashion the rights of a pregnant woman and the rights of a zygote fetus
support.
Embryo.
Why aren't you supporting?
Theresa,
why aren't you helping them in this crisis?
Can I tell you, I do, and I respect that instinct. But don't use that as a carte blanche to say, we will support you, but we will deny you any level of adult autonomy, any level of choice, even in the most awful of circumstances.
I'm not saying that, but why don't you limit this? Why didn't you limit the proposal to the dreadful cases that you have made?
Because, as Micheal set out, the 12 weeks was specifically chosen.
I'm sorry, it's already been done. You could amend the Constitution.
No, we couldn't.
That was possible. No, I'm sorry. That was possible.
Well,
you amended the Constitution. It was amended in 1992 to allow for travel and information.
Yeah, let's just deal with that.
Okay.
How hypocritical in hindsight is that? It's okay that we put into the Constitution that you can travel to England to have an abortion. It's okay to provide a service there to give you information that you can go to England to have an abortion, but we pretend it doesn't happen. We'll pretend it's not part of Irish life.
Michael,
To me,
rape case
that
which you
is the ultimate
spoke
hypocrisy.
about.
No, you
It's
can't.
easier
Because-
to
okay,
have
I'll
control.
tell you.
Teresa,
If I could
you
be
come back
have
to me
you
on
read the evidence that was presented by Tom O'Malley and other significant legal experts to the Oireachtas Committee, who went through the irreconcilability of dealing with rape and incest in the Constitution? That the reason they came down on the 12 weeks, and by the way, reluctantly came down on the 12 weeks, was to create the legal
He is
framework.
a great legal mind.
It's not just
But can I say that the abortion on demand up to 12 weeks, it's a catch-all provision, and that's what we're relying on. But where there's a political will, Micheal, you know very well, where there's political will, there is always a legal solution.
But we've been 35 years waiting for this so-called legal solution, which has never arrived. And don't forget the prevalence of the abortion.
Well, if people
Please,
vote
if I could
no,
just make it,
I'm
don't,
sure you will find
don't forget the
political
prevalence of the abortion pill up to 10 weeks, which means young women and women generally are taking the abortion.
It's a terrible problem in the UK still.
But you keep on saying it's a terrible problem, it's a shame. We can do something about it. Irish women do not have to go to Liverpool and do not have to go to England if they're diagnosed with a fetal abnormality in pregnancy. We should allow them this dignity and the humanity of going through.
Let's bring Declan in.
trauma
Do you want to
here
make a
in
contribution at this point, Declan?
We've heard about balance here, about the balance of the child's rights, the unborn child's rights. The baby is on the scales on one side, and we have various rights on the other scales, the other side of the scales. And what we're being asked to do on Friday is take the baby off the scales entirely, not even to recognise it anymore. We are the referendum commission. The Supreme Court has already ruled that the only right that the unborn child has is the rights covered by the 8th Amendment to the Constitution. We take the baby off the scales if we vote yes on Friday. We must vote no and come back to this issue.
Well, I think that very crude depiction of the scenario is actually at the root of this problem.
You're the one that talked about.
Because I haven't talked crudely about taking babies off
I'm not talking about crude. Speaking about the individual that will lose their rights in this situation.
I have to tell you,
is not crude.
What I hear
is what is at question.
Okay, you've made the point.
What I hear is a very crude, reductionist misrepresentation of the position. That reductionist misrepresentation of the position that entirely ignores that in the scenario you have a fully grown, fully sentient woman or child who is the carrier of the pregnancy. I hear no recognition from it. Maybe you're not able to walk in somebody else's shoes or to actually understand the predicament in the real world, not the world of black and white that perhaps you occupy, but in the real world, the predicaments in which people find themselves and the heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching decisions that people have to make. You see, us as legislators, we have to be cognizant of that because we have an obligation beyond our own sense of things to provide in the collective interest. And we have to recognise
I have to call all of you. I'm sorry, Declan, you're going to have to wait. Unfortunately, we need to take a break. But after the break, if you're still undecided, find out what our panel will say to you at home about why you should vote to retain or repeal the 8th Amendment. That's after this.